This video on fractions looks at proper fractions and improper fractions. We'll discuss what they are, and we'll also show how to switch back and forth between improper fractions and mixed numbers. So let's look at proper fractions first. So we know that fractions are written as a number over another number. I'm going to call the top number A and the bottom number B. A is the numerator and B is the denominator. And a proper fraction is any fraction where A is smaller than B, where the numerator is smaller than the denominator. And because the numerator, A, is always smaller than the denominator in a proper fraction always has a value of less than 1. It's always less than 1 unit. So here are some examples of proper fractions. 2 over 3, because the numerator 2 is smaller than the denominator 3. 4 over 5, because the numerator 4 is smaller than the denominator 5. And 3 over 10, because the numerator 3 is smaller than the denominator 10. And each of these fractions is worth less than 1. So next, let's have a look at improper fractions. Improper fractions can also be written as A over B, a numerator over a denominator. The difference this time, and I wonder if you can figure it out yourself at this stage, is that for improper fractions, A is bigger than B. So the number on top is bigger than the number on the bottom. The numerator is bigger than the denominator. What do you think this means about the value of any improper fraction? Well, an improper fraction is always worth more than 1. And let's have a look at a couple of examples. Well, first here we have 3 over 2, and this is an improper fraction because the numerator 3 is bigger than the denominator 2. We've got 7 over 3, and again this is an improper fraction because the numerator 7 is bigger than the denominator 3. And we have 8 over 5, and again this is an improper fraction because the numerator 8 is bigger than the denominator 5. We can change improper fractions into mixed numbers. A mixed number looks like this. It's A, which is a whole number, followed by a fraction B over C. The fraction in question should always be a proper fraction. So now we're going to look at how to change improper fractions into mixed numbers. So we're starting here in our first example with an improper fraction 7 over 5, and I want to change this from an improper fraction into a mixed number. So what I'm going to do is I'm first of all going to take the numerator 7 and divide it by the denominator 5. So 7 divided by 5, 5 goes into 7 once, but it doesn't go in exactly once. There's 2 left over. 2 is the remainder. So I write that remainder 2 over the denominator 5. So whatever denominator I have here is the same as the denominator that I had at the beginning. So 7 over 5 is equal to 1 and 2 over 5. Let's do a second example. I've got 11 over 3 and I want to write it as a mixed number. So I say 3 into 11 goes 3 times. Now what's the remainder? The remainder is 2, and I put that remainder over 3. So now here's a question for you to do yourself. So you've got 9 over 4. I want you to write that as a mixed number. Pause the video now, do this yourself, and then check and see if you're correct. Okay, so 4 into 9 goes twice, and the remainder is 1, so I put 1 over 4. And here's a second question for you. 17 over 6, which is an improper fraction, I want you to write that as a mixed number. Pause the video here, do it yourself, and then play and check and see if you're correct. Okay, so 6 into 17 goes twice, with 5 left over, so 5 over 6. So 2 and 5/6. Sometimes though we want to go the other way and we want to change mixed numbers back into improper fractions. So let's have a look at how to do that now. So here I've got a mixed number 4 2/3 and I want to change it into an improper fraction. There's a couple of steps that I have to go through for this. I'm going to start with the denominator 3 and I'm going to multiply it by the whole number 4. And then whatever answer I get, I'm going to add on the numerator, which in this case is 2. So let's see what I get. 3 multiplied by 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14, and I keep the same denominator as before. Let's do a second example. So this time I've got 5 and 3/8, and again I want to change it from a mixed number into an improper fraction. So again, I'll multiply and add. So 8 by 5 is 40, plus 3 is 43, and I keep the same denominator as before. Here's a question for you. 6 2/5 is a mixed number. Change it into an improper fraction. And again, pause the video here while you do this and then play and see if you're correct. So this time, 5 by 6 is 30, plus 2 is 32. So my answer in this case is 32 over 5. Remember, the denominator doesn't change. And here's a second question for you. 7 3/4. Change this into an improper fraction. Again, pause, try it out, and then play and check and see if you're right. Okay, so 4 by 7 is 28, plus 3 is 31. So I've got 31 over 4, and again, the denominator didn't change, it stays as 4.